name, which are to avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in the Padma Purana. Number 1, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Number 2, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scripture in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6, to give some introduction to the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritual activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, Karma Kanda. 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offensive to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined the call this morning?
हरे कृष्ण वरना माताजी धन्यवाद प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीति दासी फ्रॉम शालू हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Preeti Mataji, Dhanvas Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Anybody would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Vardhamataji. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devi Dasi from Rana.
Hare Krishna Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dhanvas Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the assembled devotees. This is Sushmita from Mississauga, Canada.
Hare Krishna Sushmita Mataji, Dhanvas Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dhanvas Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी धन्यवाद प्रणाम all glories to Prabhupada. Please to Guru Maharaj. All glories to assembly. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dhanvas Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Is anybody else would like to introduce themselves? Mataji, Medhavini Sakhi Mataji is not in the call yet, but can we start recording, Mataji?
We don't have even introduction, Mataji, because Suresh Sham Prabhu is not available this week.
Oh, okay.
Then we can wait, right? We'll wait for
Yeah,
Mataji.
We'll continue our chanting, Mataji.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna.
Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare.
Hare Krishna, Medhavini Sakhi Mathaji is here. We'll start recording.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare
Just
Krishna.
one. Sorry, Mataji. Welcoming to the Bhakti Sanga conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Medhavini Sakhi Mataji. Mataji is going to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 4th chapter, verse number 41. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are eagerly waiting for the nectar and your nice kirtan, Mataji. Thank you so much. I'll hand over the call to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I thank you, Shamagori Mataji and all the devotees for kindly giving me this opportunity to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll start with Jai Radha Madhava, and I was also thinking we will sing the song Bhajahure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana, because this verse is actually going to describe the symptoms of actually of a pure devotee of the Lord, right? What kind of symptoms and all that. So it's too high a topic to delve upon. So we will seek the blessings of Govindas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj. We're singing the song Bhajahure Mana. The more we are advanced in Krishna consciousness, the more we should be fearless. So that's the first symptom of a devotee. So we'll sing that song and then we will continue with our verse. So let's start with Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय हरि हराय नम कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदना गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहना श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत सीता हरि गुरु वैष्णव भगवत गीता श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ निताय गौरंगो निताय गौरंगो निताय गौरंग बोलो गौर हरि जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव गौर हरि हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जय प्रभुपाद गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल. Okay, so I think we'll do the verse and then we can sing the song after the verse, setting our mood to develop the right consciousness of surrender to the Lord before we actually exhibit these kind of wonderful symptoms that are mentioned in this verse. So let's study the verse now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यां नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमो पङ्कजनाभाय नमो पङ्कजमालिने नमो पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये पाहि पाहि महायोगीन् देवदेव जगत्पते नान्यं त्वादभयं पश्ये यत्र मृत्यु परस्परं कृष्ण कृष्ण महाबाहो भक्तानामभयङ्कर त्वमेको धैर्यमानानामपवर्गोऽसि संश्रुतेः. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 7, chapter number 4, text number 41. So yeah, okay. Vinita Gandharika Mathaji is sharing the screen. So let's recite the words together. Kvachit utpulakastushnim आस्थे संस्पर्श निर्वृतः अस्पन्द प्रणयानन्दा सलिला मिलिते क्षणः. Synonyms, word to word translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kvachit, sometimes. Utpulakaha, with the hairs of his body standing on end. Tushnim, completely silent. Asthe, remains. Samsparsha nirvrataha, feeling great joy by contact with the Lord. Aspanda, steady. Pranaya ananda, due to transcendental bliss from a relationship of love. Salila, filled with tears. Amilita, half closed. Ikshanaha, whose eyes. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Mathaji, you can scroll down. Yeah. Sometimes, feeling the touch of the Lord's lotus hands, he became spiritually jubilant and remained silent. his hairs standing on end, and tears gliding down from his half-closed eyes because of his love for the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When a devotee feels separation from the Lord, he becomes eager to see where the Lord is. And sometimes, when he feels pangs of separation, tears flow incessantly from his half closed eyes. As stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Sikshashtakam, Yugaitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravrasaitam. The words Chakshusha Pravrasaitam refers to tears falling incessantly from the devotee's eyes. These symptoms, which appear in pure devotional ecstasy, were visible in the body of Prahlad Maharaj. So this is speaking of Ashta Vikara, right? The 8 transcendental symptoms, right? Sometimes there is hair standing on end, and then sometimes there is tears flowing down from the eyes, and in this way, so many symptoms of love of Godhead is described here. So let's sing this song, Bhajahure Mana, written by Govindadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj. So initially, how does it start? As sadhaka bhaktas, right? Where do we start, right? We want to experience all these emotions. We want to have Krishna prema. We want to have love of Godhead. We want to experience love of God. But it all begins by surrendering at the lotus feet of the Lord. And then everything else follows, right? There is Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So we'll discuss this, but first we'll sing this song. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen, or someone can share the screen also. Let me open it otherwise. Should I share, Mathaji? Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, Mathaji.
Should I share the song, Mathaji?
Yes, Mathaji.
Mataji.
You are co-host, Mathaji. Yeah, can you please share? Yeah.
Yes. I have access now. One second. Okay, so this song is written by Govindadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, who's actually saying, how the first emotion that as sadhaka bhaktas we can also experience, right? These symptoms which are described in this verse are at very high levels of bhava and prema. But even at the stage of Vaidhi sadhaka bhakta, we can experience these emotion. The first emotion that we experience is fearlessness, as explained by Govindadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj here. So let me share my screen. Yeah. Is it visible, Mathaji?
No. Yes, Mathaji, now visible.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So we'll sing this song. Bhajahure mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Durlabha mana Janama Satsange Tora Huye Bhava Sindure शीतातप बातबरीषण ये दिन जामिनी जागिरे विफले से विनु कृपण दुर्जन चपल सुखल भलागिरे ये धन्य यौवन पुत्र परिजन इते के आचे पर तीरे कमल दल जीवन दल मल बजाहु हरिपद नीतिरे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण वंदन पाद सेवन दास्य रे पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन गोविंद दास अभिलाष रे अभय चरणरविंद रे अभय चरणरविंद रे बजाहुरे मन श्री नंदनंदन अभय चरणरविंद रे अभय चरणरविंद रे. So in this song, Govindadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj is actually telling us what is the first step. What is the first step in actually attaining love of Godhead? What is that? when we completely surrender the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. Abhaya Charanara Vindare. And having got this human form of life, Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange Torohu E Bhava Sindure, right? Having got this human form of life, our desire should be not to acquire a better house, a better car, or something that will extinguish, or that will get that will go away along with the disappearance of the body, or along with the death. But we should aspire that can give us eternal benefit. And in the human form of life, we can actually aspire for that. What is that? That is pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which means automatically we are crossing over the Bhava Sindhu. That means we are crossing over this ocean of material existence. And then Shita Atava Bhata Barishana Yedina Jamini Jagire, right? We're experiencing heat, cold, this other, what do you call, happiness and distress, etc. in this world. Why? Because this material world is meant to be Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. This material world is supposed to be a place of reformation, right? It's supposed to be a place for punishment for our previous sinful reactions, and getting ourselves reformed, so that we become we develop the right attitude of service, rather than exploiting everything that is around us, and develop this quality of service. And in this way we can go back home, back to Godhead. And then Yedana Yaubana Putra Parijana, understanding that all of these things, right, wealth, youth, sons, and all of these things, relatives, etc., they're all extremely, they're all useless. If you're attached to all of them, then we will be encircled in this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. Kamala Dalajala Jivana Talamala Bhajahure Haripada Nitire. So we need to worship the lotus feet of Lord Hari, knowing well that our life can end at any time, right? Why should we waste our this precious human form of life? And what is he recommending? He is recommending this Navavidha Bhakti. What is that? Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana, Vandana, Pada Sevana, Dasyare, Pujana, Sakijana, Atma Nivedana, Govinda Dasa Abhilashare. So, it starts with the hearing of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Shravana, Kirtana. And then what happens? We always want to remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. That is Smaranam. And then Vandanam is offering prayers. Pada Sevanam is offering service to the lotus feet of the Lord, right? Lakshmi Devi. Dasya, in the mood of servant. Because right now we don't know what is our constitutional position. But there is one thing that is actually spreading across all the 5 rasas. Whether it is Shanta Rasa, Dasya Rasa, or Vatsalya Rasa, or Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, or Madhuri Rasa. All the 5 rasas. There is one thing that is common. That is Dasya. That is in the mode of the servant. We serve for the pleasure of our master, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And then Pujana, Sakijana, Atma Nivedana. Right? We do worship of the Lord, and then automatically, as we grow in our bhakti, then we develop this fraternal relationship with the Lord, and we completely surrender to the Lord. And those are the stages. Atma Nivedana. Those are the stages which are actually described in this particular verse that Prahlad Maharaj has actually exhibited. So, if we want to attain those stages of ecstatic symptoms for the Lord, then what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to follow this Navavidha Bhakti. Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana, Vandana, Pada Sevana, Dasyana, Pujana, Sakijana, and finally Atma Nivedana. Right? And in this way, we move from the stage of Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, in the association of devotees, we practice all of this, Shravanam to Atma Nivedanam, right? Completely surrender to the Lord and engage in this Navavidha Bhakti. And then we move from Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. That is the entire process of engaging in devotional service. Bhajana Kriya. And then first is Anartha Nivriti. That means all the unwanted things go away. And then there becomes firm faith in chanting Hare Krishna. Then there comes Nishtha, firm faith in chanting Hare Krishna. And then we get taste, right? The taste is much, much higher, right? Most of us would be in the stage of Anartha Nivriti. That means first and foremost, we need to get rid of all the Anarthas. And in that way, right, which happens by Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, isn't it? Right? This verse from Bhagavatam itself, which says, right, which we also read in the beginning of every Bhagavatam class, right? Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke, Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki, right? When the Anarthas get removed, then we get more and more taste in hearing Bhagavatam, in glorifying the Lord. And then Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki, whatever is an impediment in our progress of bhakti, all those will get removed. And in that stage only we will develop Ruchi, right? Ruchi and then Asakti. That means we are completely attached to chanting Hare Krishna. And then bhava. Bhava is the stage where it's said to be preliminary stage of love of Godhead. That means all the symptoms actually, what are described here, actually start at the level of bhava. And at the time of prema, these emotions actually, um, it is like a blooming flower, and it is like a fully bloomed flower, right? So in the stage of prema, we exhibit these symptoms in its maturity, like that, right? So various symptoms have been mentioned here: hair standing on end, tears gliding down from half closed eyes. And why are these see some of these symptoms can even be experienced in the material world, isn't it? Sometimes we become so fearful when something suddenly strikes us, right? Some object, even if it's a material object, we suddenly become so fearful. At that time also, we are not able to speak anything. And sometimes when we are so distressed, when fear engulfs us, or when misery engulfs us, then also we exhibit these symptoms. The tears are flowing from our eyes, or sometimes we become, sometimes even the weather, when it is very cold, the hair stands on end, that those symptoms come, right? So what distinguishes between these is the consciousness, right? Sometimes we experience those things even at a material level, right? But when these experiences are when like we also have this pastime of several pastimes are there where devotees, they are normal, right? Walking and talking and all that, right? Suddenly they develop such emotional ecstasies when they hear about the Lord, or when they hear a particular pastime, like that, right? So okay, just skipped my mind. Okay, so we'll come back to it. Anyway, we'll be seeing all those devotees, right from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who were acting like in this world as a devotee, right, who was practicing Krishna consciousness. But there were moments of ecstasy which they try to control, because it is not for display. Such kind of ecstasies that are explained in this particular verse, which are experienced by Prahlad Maharaj, being a pure devotee of the Lord, they are not supposed to be displayed or shown for the purpose of acquiring name, fame, etc. Right? So with this consciousness, starting with fearlessness by complete surrender to the Lord, and understanding the Nava Angas of Bhakti, simply by following these Nava Angas of Bhakti, we can attain the stage of Prayojana, which is these symptoms which are actually described at the stage of love of Godhead. So with this in mind, let us offer our prayers, and then we start our class right now. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanyamanoਭीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रधायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरदुषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय धरालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripa mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram Hari Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna. So let us read the verse again. Kvachit utpulukastushnim ashte samsparsha nirvrita aspanda pranayananda salila militekshanaha. Sometimes feeling the touch of the Lord's lotus hands, he became spiritually jubilant, remained silent, his hair standing on end, tears gliding down from his half-closed eyes because of his love for the Lord. Right? It's very interesting how in this chapter where Hiranyakashipu is actually terrorizing the world, all that is described, and is also described in the last few verses. How a devotee, right, however bad the external circumstances may be, is always dependent on the mercy of the Lord, and is always blissful and experiences these symptoms even in the situation of calamities in life, right? All of us, we all know, right? If actually one of them asked Srila Prabhupada that I'm experiencing a lot of opposition from home, right? My parents are not in favor of Krishna consciousness, and Prabhupada explains, asks in one lecture to one particular devotee, right? Are you tormented like that of Prahlad Maharaj? Is your father like Hiranyakashipu? Is he tormenting you? Is he trying to kill you? And then this person, in the first couple of meetings with Prabhupada, this person says no, 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 right? So in this way, all of us experience miseries in this world, but we can always understand, right, that we have our parents for protection, we have our family for protection. But what if our family itself is behind us to kill us? And then what would such situation be, and whether we can even practice bhakti in that level, right? So Prahlad Maharaj is a very wonderful example of how a devotion can be practiced in all circumstances, whether it is even at the stage of life and death situation. Of course, Kunti Maharani, elevated devotees, they pray for such situations, right? So that they can always remember the Lord, right? So we can also measure our own level of surrender. Of course, in our nascent stages of bhakti, right? How we can measure our level of surrender? That's why we sang that song, isn't it? How much we are fearless, right? Why is there fear? There is fear because we don't know what is going to happen next, right? The worst fear is whether I would be even alive, right? The other fears could be something like what happens if there is if my organization closes down, or what if I lose my job, right? Those are the various kinds of fears that we have because we are not certain about the future, right? So in this way, when we examine our own life, right, how much anxious we are of what will happen in the future, how will I sustain in this world of competitiveness, etc., etc., etc. So many worries are lingering in our mind. So when we examine ourselves, how much we are worrying about the future, to that extent, we know that we are not surrendering unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, it does not mean that we don't prepare for the future, right? We prepare for the future, right? We endeavor. At the same time, we are dependent upon the Lord, right? We know that we all know from Bhagavad Gita, the three doers, right? As Jiva, we desire. What is our desire? What should our desire be? Our desire should be to perform our swadharma as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter-in-law, as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a grandfather, whatever may be our role, as an employee of an organization. We perform our swadharma, but we do it in the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, right? What does Krishna tell Arjuna? Ma manusmara yudhyacha. We are not expected to run away from our battlefield, which is our daily situation, right from the time in the morning till we go to bed. We are fighting a battle against Maya. How are we fighting this battle? By making various choices, right? So how do we exercise our choice, right? Every choice that we make either takes us close to Krishna, either takes us close to experiencing these ecstasies because of love of Godhead, or takes us to the point of being fearful of what will happen to us in future, right? So we can measure our own levels of surrender, and this introspection can be done at all times, right? So someone asked Prabhupada, why was Arjuna disturbed, right? Even after hearing the entire Bhagavad Gita, then the battle began, right? Arjuna asked so many questions, and finally, Yata ichasi tata kuru, do whatever you like. And then what did Arjuna say? I will do whatever you are telling me. I will do whatever you tell me. Since you are asking me to fight, I'm happy to fight, right? Karishye vachanam tava. That's what he told Krishna. I will do whatever you are telling me. And he fought the battle. And then this disciple was asking Prabhupada, even after hearing the entire Bhagavad Gita, even after taking the right decision of fighting this battle, why did Arjuna get so perturbed? Because his son died. He was attached to his son, right? Even after understanding Bhagavad Gita and knowing that, I am not this body, I am the spirit soul, I should be just doing my duty without, without getting disturbed by the consequences of what I'm doing. All that he heard. So why did he get disturbed? Right? And then Prabhupada said, no, right? Prabhupada actually says that, yes, a devotee should not get disturbed, right? And he quoted this verse, Sukhe dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo, right? And he actually told this devotee that whether one is happy or whether one is sad, or whether one has got gains or one is experiencing loss, whether one is experiencing jaya jaya, that means whether one is experiencing victory or one is being defeated by the other, right? One should be sthita prajna, one should be steady in his attempt to perform service, right? And then Prabhupada says Arjuna was such a person, right? Although Arjuna exhibited his emotion of separation from his son, right? How did Arjuna show that he is a sthita prajna? And Prabhupada explains this very beautifully, right? Prabhupada says that although he had these emotions of separation from his son, he did not throw away his Gandiva bow, saying that I'm not going to fight, right? Initially, that was his reaction, right? And that's why Prabhupada, in between one verse and another verse, I always quote this. It was very, very, it's very awesome, right? It's a very thin line between compassion and attachment to material nature, right? Prabhupada in one verse actually glorifies Arjuna, saying, he's a man of compassion, and that's the quality of a devotee. And in the very next verse, when he actually puts down his Gandiva bow, he's saying, Prabhupada explains Arjuna as, all this is happening in the first chapter, isn't it? Prabhupada is actually telling, Arjuna is attached to his kinsman, right? He's not performing his duty. But when Abhimanyu got killed, right? Although, it was a very, it was not a fair way that they killed Abhimanyu. And Arjuna was actually very, very deeply hurt by all of this. But he did not put down his bow and say that I will not fight, right? So in that way, he continued to perform his duty. And in this way, right, he did the part of a devotee. So like that, you are not expected to run away from the battlefield, which is our day in and day out, the Swadharma that we perform. But how do we armor ourselves? We armor ourselves by chanting during the Brahma Muhurta time in the morning. The 2 hours that we dedicate towards chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the armor that we wear, right? Even anybody before, Arjuna also wore the armor and took all the bows and arrows and everything. He went to the battlefield, right? Then like that, every day when we step out to this battlefield of Maya, then we need to be sufficiently armored by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And as we perform our duty, whether it is Swadharma or Sanatana Dharma, for the pleasure of the Lord, we don't get bogged down by any results, right? Because when you are serving for the pleasure of the Lord, that in itself is a success, right? Because you're already pleasing Guru and Gauranga by our efforts, and that in itself is success. And whatever success or failure comes as a result of our activity is simply a detail, right? Prabhupada actually mentions in one of his lectures that at the time of performing our duty, whatever is our consciousness, that determines the success or failure of that particular endeavor, right? And whatever follows is merely a detail, right? That is not of so much of importance because you're already pleased, right? So we see here Prahlad Maharaj was in a very, very difficult situation, constant threat from his own father, being pushed down from the from the mountain, or putting into put into hot oil, and then kept in a room full of snakes, etc., etc. All of this could not deter his remembrance of the Lord. He was absorbed in love for Krishna, right? But at the same time, he did not exhibit his ecstatic symptoms, right? The Lord was always protecting him. Externally, what did he do? He did not express these symptoms, right? So he was actually preaching to his friends, right? It is explained in the in Srimad Bhagavatam how Prahlad Maharaj was preaching to his friends, right? When his teachers, Sanda and Amarka, would go for a break, etc., he would preach to all of those friends who are born in the Daitya Kula, right? They were all born in the family of the demons, but he used to preach to them. right? And then we also see how a great devotees to the Lord, right from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Although they were experiencing love of Godhead, they were experiencing these symptoms, right? Sometimes they did exhibit these symptoms, and then they realized, the audience or the people around them were not ready to take these kind of symptoms. Then what did they do? They actually curtailed their emotions, right? We saw how we see in the pastimes of Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the pages of Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met with Ramananda Rai, right? They exhibited ecstasy of meeting each other. They hugged each other. Tears were flowing down from the eyes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu realized when the people are there around, there were some, the brahmanas, they were there, and then they were wondering, why is this sannyasi, why is he embracing a shudra? Because they were seeing from their materialistic eyes, right? We see according to the glasses we wear. That's what we discussed in the previous sessions also. So in this way, they were thinking, why he's exhibiting so much of emotions, embracing a shudra like that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew their mind, and then he would restrain himself, right? And so many examples are there. Srinivas Acharya, he wanted to study Srimad Bhagavatam from Gadadhar Pandit, right? When he went to Gadadhar Pandit, he said, the only copy that I have of Bhagavatam, it is all got wiped out because of the tears of ecstasy. Because Gadadhar Pandit and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to study. In fact, they used to study the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj only, incidentally, right? Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj, like that. So when Srinivas Acharya went to Gadadhar Pandit, right? This was after the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Gadadhar Pandit, he said, all the pages have got wiped out because of tears of ecstasy. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself used to cry. And Gadadhar Pandit used to give out tears of ecstasy, right? They are best experienced in the association of pure devotees of the Lord. But when these devotees actually come into the world, when they come from in the mode of preaching, what do? They come down to the level of Madhyam Adhikari and they restrain such emotions, right? Even Bhakti Vinod Thakur himself, he's written so many bhajans, right? Manasa Deho Geho Jo Kichumor Arpilo Tua Pade Nanda Kishore. Narottam Das Thakur has written Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dase Ranu Dasa Seva Abhilasha Kore Narottam Das. And then he's describing, right? Gatiya Malatir Mala Dibo Tuhar Gale, right? Adhare Tuliya Dibo Karpura Tambule, right? In this way, they are experiencing the bliss of serving the Lord, right? Lalita Vishaka Adi Jatasha Brinda Ajnaya Koribo Seva Charanaravinda. Lalita Vishaka, see, he's actually appeared in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, Narottam Das Thakur, right? And he came much later, right? Narottam Das Thakur, like we all know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Krishna Prema for Narottam Das Thakur. That whenever this Narottam comes and takes bath in this Padma river, right? The river goddess Padmavati Devi was entrusted with Krishna Prema even before Narottam was born, and he was like shouting Narottam, 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 and tears were coming out of his eyes, thinking of this devotee who is yet to appear, isn't it? Nobody knew who's this Narottam. And this Padmavati Devi, who's in Kulyagram, right? Padmavati river, the goddess personified of the river, right? She's asking, how will I know that it is Narottam Das Thakur who's going to come and, who's come and, taking bath in my river? He said, the river will overflood. So in this way, the devotees exhibited ecstasy. The Lord exhibited ecstasy, right? And Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, in these songs, they are describing that ecstasy of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when they went, right, there were so many sahajiyas. We also see in Abhay Charan, this movie also, very beautifully how it is described, as well as Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, right? He shows how this Bhakti Vinod Thakur goes with Srimad Bhagavatam. He goes and defeats all of the, the Falguni Baba and all of those Babas who claim themselves as God, right? So when they go there, they don't exhibit ecstasy. They are cutthroat. They defeat this Mayavadism or Sahajiyism or whatever may be, right? They are cutthroat because they come down from the level of Krishna Bhakti or the level of Prema, right? The level of Krishna Prema. They come down from the Uttamadhikari, because if somebody is an Uttamadhikari, it is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita how they think that everybody else is a better devotee than me, and then how are we going to engage in preaching, right? When I feel genuinely in my heart right? That somebody is more advanced than me, then how will I even go and preach to them, right? So all of these Vaishnava songs, they exhibit the ecstasy of our Vaishnava acharyas. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also experiences ecstasy, right? I'm just coming down from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We see all of our Vaishnava acharyas of Gaudiya Vaishnava Guru Parampara, right? They're all Manjuris in the spiritual world. They're assisting Radha and Krishna in the pastimes, and that is why they are able to relate these pastimes to us, so that we conditioned souls get attracted to these pastimes and want to get these results, right, of Krishna Prema. What is it? We need to understand, right? Where will we go? What is our destination? And that gives us motivation to actually perform our sadhana very nicely, right? So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he experienced ecstasy when he got initiated by Gaur Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, right? He went so many times, and Gaur Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj would say, I'm not going to give you initiation, right? Because you are a great Sanskrit scholar and I cannot even write my own name. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, right? At that time, he was Bimala Prasad, right? He is a ray of Vishnu that Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed for, the great devotee of the Lord who experienced the transcendental ecstasy, who wrote these wonderful songs. He himself is praying for a ray of Lord Vishnu to come and assist him in his preaching, this philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And his son Bimala Prasad, right, who is the ray of Vishnu, he gets ecstatic when he gets this initiation from Gaur Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj after several attempts, after several times going and requesting him on the instruction of his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Gaur Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he could not even read his own name or write his own name, right? Even Gaur Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj experienced ecstasy in chanting Hare Krishna, right? And that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that my spiritual master, not even a second, he does not remember Krishna. He remembers Krishna every second also, right? And that is why I have taken him as my spiritual master. So whether one is a scholar like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, whether one is one cannot even write his own name, right? Like Gaur Krishna Babaji Maharaj, right? No material qualification can be an impediment. Whether one is a great scholar, whether one is totally illiterate, right? We also know this Brahmana. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went for the South India Yatra, he actually saw a Brahmana who was crying tears of ecstasy looking at the Bhagavad Gita. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, why are you crying? And and you are having the book also upside down. So what kind of ecstasy you are experiencing, right? And this Brahmana said, right, I cannot read Bhagavad Gita, right? However, my spiritual masters asked me to study the Bhagavad Gita, so I am trying to read. And then, okay, you don't understand the Bhagavad Gita, so why are you crying, right? And then this Brahmana is saying that when I see the front page, right, the cover of the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna has actually become the Sarathi of Arjuna, I cannot help but tears are streaming down from my eyes, because the Supreme Lord, he has agreed to become the charioteer of Arjuna. So in this way, the devotees experience this transcendental bliss by the mercy of the Lord, and in that way they shed out tears of ecstasy, right? But we also see that Brahmana, right? That Brahmana was not engaged in preaching or anything like that. So, but still he experienced that ecstasy, right? So similarly, coming down, right? We have Bhaktivinoda Thakur experienced that ecstasy, Gaur Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then we come to our His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, right? Srila Prabhupada also, right? In Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita also it is mentioned how tears streamed from Prabhupada's eyes when he looked at the deity of Radha Kalachandji, and sometimes when he had darshan of Radha Shamasundar in Vrindavan Dham, tears streamed from Prabhupada's eyes. But Srila Prabhupada said that Prabhupada controlled his eyes, controlled his tears, right? Why? Because Prabhupada's mood, right? We all know what was Prabhupada's mood. Prabhupada was a Senapati Bhakta in the army of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he came down from that ecstatic level of Krishna Prema, being a Uttamadhikari devotee of the Lord, being a pure devotee of the Lord, who opened 108 temples, who went to the Western world just with 40 rupees, with one, with some copies of Srimad Bhagavatam, but he was completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He curtailed all of his ecstasy simply to actually take this Vrindavan consciousness to the Western world. And finally, his disciples brought that Vrindavan consciousness to Vrindavan and all the places of India. Because otherwise people were thinking, right, so many Sahajyas at that time, Puttanati and all that, right? They were thinking that, I am a gopi, like all of these, they were cheaply taking this the entire process of Krishna consciousness, very, very cheaply they were taking. right? So in this way, by the teachings of Prabhupada, not only the Western world got delivered, but even I can talk for myself, right? Born in a Brahminical family in Chennai, all I was praying until I read Prabhupada's books was, get a good job, get good marks in the studies, right? Such goal itself was so low. And then we realized, we wasted, 20 years of our life before we actually understand what is the goal of life, right? So in this way, by Prabhupada's mercy, and Prabhupada's actually coming down from the platform of Uttamadhikari to Madhyamadhikari and actually preaching this message of Krishna consciousness, so many pure devotees have come up, right? Because one person, actually Prabhupada, who's a pure devotee, he could have stayed in Vrindavan Dham. He was staying in Radha Damodar temple near Rupa Goswami Samadhi, and it was, it is described in Prabhupada Lilamrita how he used to spend his day, right? Early morning, he used to write the purports to, Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, and then used to, there's ding, 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 bell rings at 4 o'clock. And then he takes his chanting bag, and then he used to visit the various temples, right? The 7 important temples of Vrindavan. And then he used to chant 64 rounds at that time, right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, at that time, he used to chant 64 rounds in Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Prabhupada actually reduced it to 16 rounds. And then he said, you chant 16 rounds, and then you follow the 4 regulative principles, I will take you back to Godhead, right? So we will experience, right? When we perfect our life, we will experience our ecstasy, our all of this, the Ashta Vikara, all of these, tears flowing down from the eyes, or, the goosebumps, or all of these ecstasies we will experience, and not because of our endeavor, but if we simply chant 16 rounds, whether or not we have taste, whether or not we like it, whether or not we want to get up in the morning or not, whether or not we have the mood, whatever may be, if we simply chant minimum 16 rounds, minimum, right? Actually, the standard is 64, and Prabhupada said the Western devotees cannot chant 64 rounds, so I've reduced it to 16 rounds, right? And we all know the struggle. At least I can talk for myself, right? The 16 rounds is a big struggle. Born in India does not matter, does not really matter, but because of Prabhupada's mercy, if we continue to simply chant minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mantra, and Prabhupada said on Ekadashi days, why only 25 rounds? You should chant more Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So in this way, Prabhupada has given us instructions how we can actually access Prabhupada's mercy. Prabhupada said, follow 4 regulative principles, chant minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. That means we have to chant minimum 16, and we need to chant more. As given in the one of the letters written by Prabhupada on Ekadashi days, we have to chant more rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this way, when we please Prabhupada, when we please a pure devotee of the Lord, then we can hope someday, by the mercy of Prabhupada, by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we will also be able to experience such ecstasy. But we cannot work towards experiencing such ecstasy, right? What we have to do at our level of sadhana bhakti, we simply need to endeavor with utsahat, nischayat, dhairyat, like Rupa Goswami gives in Nectar of Instruction, right? What are we supposed to do? Utsahat, nischayat, dhairyat, tattat karma pravartanat, Sanga tyaga sato vritti, sadbir bhaktir prasidhyati, right? With enthusiasm, with determination, and with patience. Patience is very, very difficult to develop, right? Enthusiasm is, we know the goal, we want to attain that goal. Enthusiasm comes naturally, right? Utsaha, nischayat, right? As we study the pages of Bhagavatam every day, right? Our confidence, avashya rakshibe Krishna, Krishna will always protect us in all circumstances. The confidence also comes very easily, depending on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because we know, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvalokam Maheshwaram, Suhradam Sarvabhutanam Nyatva Mam Shanti Mrichati. Suhradam Sarvabhutanam. I am the friend of all living entities. So I always tell this, right? What is not within our control, right? When something comes where we don't have any control, that is when we feel very anxious. We feel, we feel left out. We feel alone, right? In such circumstances, when we know what is not within our control is within the control of the Supreme Lord, who is my best friend, who is my well-wisher, who is going to do everything that is good for me, then I will easily develop nischayat. Nischayat is also very easy, but patience, dhairyat is the most difficult, right? Because we need to practice this until the last breath of our life, right? Because Prabhupada says, this entire life is a preparation and death is the examination, right? For every class, first standard, second standard, 10th standard, 12th standard, we have 1 year of preparation. We know that 1 year I have to study. If I pass the exam, I'll go to the next level. right? So in this way, Maya tests at every level. Maya tests us, right? When we pass one exam, we go to the next level. That means what? We are in small stage of Shraddha, and then in the association of devotees, we are doing bhajana kriya, and our anarthas are getting, are getting slowly eradicated. In that way, what would our choices be? Our choice would always be to choose Krishna and not choose Maya. Every time we make a choice of choosing Krishna and not choosing sense gratification or Maya or being an illusion, then we are passing every test. And then the final test comes at the time of death. If you've remembered Krishna throughout our life, if you've surrendered to Krishna throughout our life, if we practice Krishna consciousness throughout our life, then Krishna himself says, right? Antakalicha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. So Krishna says, if you remember me at the time of death, you will come back to me. And Prabhupada says, if you practice Krishna consciousness very nicely throughout your life, always remembering Krishna, never forgetting Krishna, when you are healthy, when you're able to exercise control over your senses, then at that time of death, when the kapha, vata, pitta, everything is unbalanced, is imbalanced, we're not able to think, we don't know what we are thinking, we don't know what we are lying on the bed, with nothing, right? With no control on our body or on our mind, what we are thinking, we have no control at all. At that time, right, Prabhupada and Krishna, they will enable us to remember them, and in this way we will be able to go back home, back to Godhead, right? And also, like out of all the surrendered souls also that we discussed, right, there are Bhajananandis and there are Goshtyanandis, right? And we all know how Prabhupada, we are all in the army of Prabhupada, who himself is a Senapati Bhakta in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's army. We are all Goshtyanandis. That means we don't wait for all these symptoms to manifest in us, and we don't want to perfect our life and go back home, back to Godhead alone, right? We want, because we want to adopt, at least 1% of the mood that Srila Prabhupada had, right? He left Vrindavan to take Vrindavan to the Western world, right? We are not, at least I can talk for myself, right? What I can do, right? What I try to do is, whomever I see, if I see something favorable, then at least I just try to give them Krishna, right? In this way, small attempts, according to our realization, right? How it has changed our life. Somebody has given us a book of Bhagavad Gita. Somebody in our life has somehow or the other made us chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? In this way, we have got this treasure. So the more we give this treasure to others, the more we will experience bliss in practicing Krishna consciousness, right? That's why it's always said, Janma sartakari kara paropakar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, right? We have to perfect our life by practicing this process given to us that we have received by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. Somebody gave us a book, somebody gave us the chanting beads, somebody asked us to chant, somebody told us later that, it is good to chant during Brahma Muhurta time. Somebody gave us all these steps, how we can experience bliss. And now it is our duty to give, right? To give what we have received. In that way, when we give whatever we have received, we can be sure that by the mercy of Prabhupada, by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we will also experience all these wonderful symptoms. We have no control on the prayojana, right? These are all prayojana. Whether, having ecstatic symptoms, having love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they're all prayojana. At our stage, we have to focus on Sambandha and Abhideya. Sambandha means knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Abhideya means engaging in the Navavidha Bhakti. And when we engage in the Navavidha Bhakti, following the instructions of our Guru Maharaj, following the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada says, I eternally live in my books. By studying Srila Prabhupada's books day in and day out, every day, by transforming our lives according to what principles Prabhupada has given in his books. In this way, when we do Abhideya, practice the principles of Krishna consciousness, then Prayojana is for the Lord to give whenever he wants to, right? So all of these symptoms, Krishna Prema, right? We say that at the end of Shikshashtakam prayers, right? Every devotee, after Shikshashtakam, we recite the 10 offenses and we say, every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must carefully guard against all of these offenses in order to quickly attain the desired success, which is Krishna Prema, right? That is our desired success. And all these symptoms follow when we attain Krishna Prema. So when we focus on Sambandha and Abhideya, automatically the results will come. So we will end here. I thank you all for your patient hearing. Vanchakalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So actually, when I was preparing for this session, I was just thinking, it is very, very esoteric. What should I speak on this subject? And then I heard a lecture, and then I thought, his Grace Gaur Gopal Prabhu, it was a very light lecture. He was giving, to totally new people. So he was simply specifying about, what, why worry like that? It's general talk he was giving, right? Is it within my control? Then why worry? If it's not within my control, why worry? If it is within your control, do it. Why worry? Right? So like that. So I was just thinking, why worry about when will I get those ecstatic symptoms? When will I get Krishna prema? So let us worry about what is within our control. That's why I thought we'll focus on sambandha gyan and abhideya gyan. That is within our control. And when we do this under the instructions of Guru and Gauranga, and Prabhupada, following his instructions, then all of these, the prayojana, the ecstatic symptoms, and all of that will be received automatically by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mathaji, thank you. Thank you so much for very enlightening class, Mathaji.
Excellent, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah, Vinita Gandharika Mathaji, please go ahead, Mathaji, with you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for the very beautiful class. Very nice points, how we have to use this opportunity and always be cautious about Krishna consciousness and chant as much as possible. And it's not possible to remember Krishna at the end of the life. When we keep practicing chanting every time, then only we can be able to remember Krishna. And you're mentioning how at the time of the death, kapha, vata, pitta, all this thing is there, and we cannot be able to remember Krishna. I was remembering this sloka. Can I tell that sloka, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Yeah. Krishna tvadiya pada pankaja panjarantam आद्यैव विसतो मनसा राजहंसा प्राणाप्रयाणसमये कंठावरोदनविदो स्मरणां कुतस्ते. O Krishna, please allow my mind to immediately yield to your lotus flower-like feet. Just as flamingo enters into their of the lotus flower stem, when at the moment of my last breath, my thought becomes constructed by actions of the bodily humor, air and flame. How will I be able to remember you? So this I recite every day this verse, Mataji. When you told me, I was able to remember. As soon as I wake up, I recite this verse every single day. When I read Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, Srila Prabhupada was saying there, he used to recite at the end, at the end, when he was very sick, at that time he was reciting this verse. From then I got very attracted to this particular verse, and I recite every day. Whenever you told me about this, how it is very difficult to remember Krishna at the end of the life, I was remembering this verse, Mataji. Such a sweet verse, so beautiful. I mean, that's true that it is very difficult to remember Krishna. Only Krishna should make us to give that opportunity to make us to remember him. Thank you, Mataji, for such a sweet class.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vinita Gandharika Mataji, for sharing that. Thank you so much. If anybody have any questions or realization you'd like to share, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yeah, Prahladananda Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Very nice lecture. You speak so continuously. I think Lord Krishna, Prabhupada Maharaj, has given such a great mercy to you. In connection to this slok Mataji said from Mukund Mala Stotra, there is another very nice one which I also like is Sri Vallabheti Vardeti Dayapareti Bhakpriyeti Bhavaluntan Kovideti Natheti Nakshayaneti Jagan Nivashet Alapanam Pratipadam Kurume Mukunda. So we should pray to Mukunda that at every step, let me remember you. So this is how we'll be able to remember him. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Prabhu. Wonderful. Yes.
Sukakar Krishna. Sindhu Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji. Vasundara Mataji, please unmute yourself and go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. What a power-packed session, Mataji. Fully energetic. I mean, I was feeling so bad about myself after seeing your energy, the way you spoke, one after the other, so many insights. Please wish me that I'll be able to kind of sustain and progress in this Krishna consciousness platform. First of all, I just wanted to ask you, Mataji, during your session, you spoke about Arjuna's attachment or feeling when he lost his son. By that time, I lost the connection, Mataji. Would you mind repeating why was it? In spite of having the gyan of Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, he knew the soul and the body distinction, etc. But still, he felt that attachment. I lost the piece there. Would you mind repeating, Mataji, please?
So Arjuna, although he had that, it's not attachment, he had affection for his son, and it is natural for a devotee to feel that kind of emotion, right? We also sing Jaya Nilo Prema Dhana when when Vaishnava Acharyas on their Tirobhav Tidhis, right? So we do feel their separation, but in spite of all that, we should not give up our duty. Like Arjuna, in the initial stage, he put down his Gandiva, right? But after he got this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, although he was going through this emotion of having lost his son, he did not stop fighting the war. He went for performing his duty. So that is the attribute or a quality of a devotee, that whatever situation happens, he takes it at the mercy of the Lord, but continues to perform his Swadharma and Sanatana Dharma. So that's the thing.
Okay, so that means it was not attachment is what you're saying. It is more of following the duty, even in spite of the kind of the situation at that point of time. So do we need to understand that there was absolutely no attachment, Mataji?
See, attachment, that's what. See, for example, I can give you one conversation when somebody went and told Prabhupada, my wife died. And I'm not feeling any remorse. I'm not feeling any sadness. Right? So I'm entitled to take sannyas. Prabhupada give me sannyas. And Prabhupada said, for the woman who spent her entire life serving you, and she is passed away and you have no emotions for her, how are you going to serve all the people? First of all, you need to develop emotions and gratitude for the people who have served you. Right? So that way, devotees are those, we are not sentimentalists, but that does not mean that we don't have emotions. Right? We exhibit emotions, but keeping Lord Krishna in the center. Right? So we are not attached at a bodily platform. I'm just saying, the meaning exactly. But as we progress in our Krishna consciousness, the more we become attached to Krishna, the less we will get attached, at the bodily platform. Right? And of course, in all levels, emotions will be experienced. But we should ensure that such emotions don't cloud our determination to practice devotional service or to even perform our duty for that matter. Yeah. So that is the thin line between affection and attachment.
Okay. So it's natural even for a devotee at whatever level he or she is in the sadhakas, they can continue to have those emotions, right, Mataji? So it might not be exactly.
Yeah. See, what is our goal? We want to attain Krishna Prema. We want to have that love for the Lord. Right? So the emotions, the devotees are not hard-hearted. The devotees have their emotions dovetailed in the right direction. Right? So emotions will be there always, even for perfect devotees. They will have their emotions directed in the right direction. That means they see everything. Right? Stavara Jangama Deki Tara Murti. That means in every person, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Kavi Hastini, Shuni Cheva Suvakecha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Right? They see everything, every object, every living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everybody will be, he will be reminded of the Lord whenever he sees anybody and anything. So like that. So the emotions will always be there. We are not going to become stone-hearted. In fact, we want to melt our stone-heartedness and develop emotions for the Lord.
Okay. So the thin line between the emotions and having attachment is basically not quitting your duty, not quitting your swadharma, right? At the same time,
whatever be the circumstance,
continue to be tasty. Okay. Great. Thanks a lot, Mathaji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams.
Thank you so much for wonderful answer, Mataji. It's really helpful for everyone. Thank you. Sindhu Mataji,
Hare Krishna Mataji. What a beautiful class again. It was, I didn't join from the beginning, but Vasundhara Mataji's question also, it is a common question that all of us have in our lives, right? When to show emotions and when not to show emotions. But my realization today, when you said the Sambandha and Abhideya, right? See, what happens is when you are in bhakti, it comes in tarang, right? Sometimes you are so good in it, and sometimes you fall down. And it fall down in the sense you don't have so much of shraddha, not so much of utsaha, and you're expecting Krishna to reciprocate. Only when you reciprocate can I move forward. But today I learned that lesson that Prayojana is not in my control, right? The only thing which is in my control is Sambandha and Abhideya, and that itself should be our motivation. It happens to me quite often. Either I'm in the spectrum of 10 or 0, right? And when I'm at 0, I'm expecting Krishna to say, okay, I'm here, or do something so I can come back. So,
so in that case, Mathaji, we will draw our inspiration from the association of devotees.
Okay.
Right, Krishna, like there is one very beautiful example that is only Jayapataka Swami Srila Guru Maharaj gave in one of the Chaitanya Lila sessions. So Maharaj, Guru Maharaj was mentioning how a person, there was extreme flood. The entire place was getting flooded. And then this person ran to the rooftop and he sat there and thinking that Krishna will come and give me protection now. And then there was one truck, one big truck which came, and then they called out to him, hey, come, I will protect you. I will take you to shelter. He said, no, Krishna only has to come and protect me. I will wait for Krishna's mercy. And then there was another helicopter which came, and then they said, come, we will take you to safety. He said, no, Krishna only has to come. And then what happened? He died in that, he got drowned and he died. And then he went to the spiritual world, or heavenly planets, wherever, and he had this conversation with probably Yamaraj. I don't know whom he had the conversation with. I don't recollect, but he was thinking, he was asking, why was I not protected by Lord Krishna, right? And then Krishna actually tells him that I came in the form of those people who were in the helicopter. I came in the form of those people who came in the truck, but you were not willing to accept the help, right? So we don't know how Krishna's mercy will come to us at all times. So we can be very sure that in the association of devotees, whenever we are feeling low, we are not able to do our sadhana, we should immediately get into the association of those devotees who can inspire us to do our sadhana. So in that way, Krishna's mercy will be accessible to us, and is accessible to us at all times. Yes, Mataji, does that help?
Yes, extremely good, Mataji. Yes, I will follow that because it happens to me quite often. It's like a
It happens to all of us, Mataji. At sadhaka, in the sadhaka stage, it happens to all of us. But we should be determined to do what is necessary so that we can stay on the path of bhakti. We can keep advancing. Just like a person in the who's swimming, he cannot remain stagnant. Either he goes forward or the currents will drive him backward. But we have to continuously strive. Even for a moment, we cannot be lethargic. We have to continuously strive, and we can have that enthusiasm, determination only in the association of those devotees who are having that enthusiasm and determination. Yeah. Yes. And we have that association because of Krishna's mercy. Right? Brahmande Brahmiti Kona Bhagyavana Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. Right? We've got this bhakti process. We've got the association of our gurus, our Shiksha gurus, our Diksha guru, only by the mercy of Krishna, isn't it?
Yes. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much. That's an inspiration.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Vaishali Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, koti koti dandavat pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Jai Gopinath ki jai. Mataji, your class is so inspiring, Mataji, because your sadhana is so strong. Can you please, Mataji, one bhajan, Vaishnav song by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the permission of all Vaishnava? Jai Srila Prabhupada Mataji. Thank you for inspiring us. ऐसे चाबुक लेके सबको जगाते हो माताजी आप. जय जय नित्यानंद, जय जय गौरंगा. Thank you माताजी. कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम. कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम माताजी.
I'm happy that please keep me in your prayers. I would request all the devotees to please, whatever I'm speaking is all in the head. So somehow, by all of your mercy, it should come down, percolate down to my heart. And in this way, please pray for me that I can also practice whatever I have preached. Right? In that way, in talking there is nothing. We need to imbibe it in our life, for which I seek all of your blessings and prayers. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Sukkar Krishna Prabhu, please go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Medhavini Mataji, wonderful class.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu.
Mataji, about this Abhimanyu's, when Abhimanyu died, Krishna was next to Arjuna. And Abhimanyu is very close to Krishna because he's his sister Subhadra's son, and he has only trained him in the spiritual life. But he didn't have any emotion, first of all, didn't want to show. And for Krishna, he's Supreme Lord, and everybody's a child, whether here or back home, back to Godhead. And he's in the soul level. But in the human being level, whether in devotional life or not, there is sorrow is there. When that son is dead, means it's a big loss in the sense. But so bodily attachment also is there. It's not that we are able to get out of the bodily attachment. Because from tomorrow we cannot see the boy, though he died in the in the war phase, so he will definitely go back home. He's a disciple of Krishna only, and or if somebody dies, they will go to the Swarga also. But the person who lost it, it's a loss forever. No, you cannot just keep smiling. I went back home, back to Godhead. That never happens. Somebody dies.
That is why we sing this song, na Jenilo Prema Dana. We miss their association, but we don't not perform our duty, right? Irrespective of whatever happens, whatever is turmoil is there in our heart, we know that our shelter is Krishna only. And how we take shelter of Krishna is by performing devotional service, by chanting Hare Krishna. So the solution is also to remembrance of Krishna only all the time. So yeah, in all ways we have to just continue our duty of Sanatana Dharma and Swadharma, being dependent on the Lord. Yes, we cannot artificially give up our emotions, right? Wherever we are at our current level, we need to slowly make our progress by surrendering to the Lord. And the Lord says, right, Mata Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. The Lord will give us intelligence, the knowledge, the forgetfulness, right? Sometimes we simply need to forget some things to get out of the misery, right? The Lord will empower us to forget what is not necessary for us so that we can advance in bhakti. So the Lord knows what to give when we simply need to surrender to the Lord, and the Lord will do the rest.
And you told about Prabhupada telling one person, he said, my wife is dead, I have no emotion, I want to become selfless. That means Prabhupada came to know that he needs man and samman, that he becoming a sannyasi for the position, it's like some upadhi for that. That's why Prabhupada said no, that because you cannot demand.
Correct. No, and one more thing is, as a sannyasi, he has to exhibit compassion to all the people, right? That's when a person is able to preach. When a person does not have any emotions and it's so self-centered, then how can a person preach? So that was basically the quality that emotions are necessary, right? We avoid the envious as madhyamadhikaris. What do preachers do? They do that. They avoid the envious people because they don't want the other person to commit Vaishnava aparadh, and they themselves don't want to be in that situation. And they befriend the devotees. They are in the association of devotees. They worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So in this way, emotions are there in all levels. And even in the perfected level, whether we are in Sakya Rasa or Dasi Rasa or Madhurya Rasa, we are going to have emotions for the Lord. And to love means to serve, and to serve means to please, right? As well as Radhanath Swami Maharaj said in one of his lectures, we need to love, right? If we are going to totally control to give away our emotions, then we are we are as good as jada, right? So the symptom of living force itself is to love, right? But what are we doing now? Instead of, like Maharaj said, we need to love people and use things in the service of people. But what are we doing now? We are loving things and we are using people to get those things. So it is like that inverted thing, right? Urdhva Moolam Adha Shakam, right? So we are misdirected. Our love is misdirected now. When our love is properly established for the Supreme Lord and for those who are serving the Supreme Lord, then our emotions will be correctly directed. So this redirection only we can do. We cannot give up our emotions. We can never give up our emotions.
So that person who told Prabhupada he was not selfless, he was selfish. He's only bothered about his body, his soul, and he's not bothered about what happened to wife. So he's not selfless.
He's not selfless. He does not have compassion, right? Like
Parivrja
Kacharya. Yeah, they no feeling of, that's why Prahlad Maharaj also says, right? In this particular, there's a couple of verses only, Prahlad Maharaj says to Narsinghadev that I am not fear. I was never fearful because I was always remembering you. But I am an anxiety for all these people who don't remember you. And that is why I want to deliver all of them, right? So that is the emotion of a devotee, that, you know, he for himself he is fearless, right? Bhajahure mana Shri Nandana Abhaya Charana Ravindre, right? But he is feeling anxious for all those people. That is why he goes out and preaches to all those people and get their connection established with Krishna. So a devotee has that anxiety for others, right? He's not selfish at all, like that.
But he prayed for his father also. Please save him. I know he has done so many things. So he was conscious of that. And the Prahlad did not get any pain because Shravana, Kirtan, Smaran, three things continuously was doing. So whoever does like that, Krishna embraces them. And when Krishna embraces, definitely nothing, because Krishna takes the whole thing. But in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in Haridas Thakur's case, he was getting beating and he was praying that please don't punish them. So Mahaprabhu wanted to kill
Same
them
thing.
with
Prahlad Maharaj also prayed the same
chakra.
way. Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
But
He also
Chaitanya
prayed
Mahaprabhu
like
said,
that. My father does not know what he is doing, so please forgive him, like that.
But Mahaprabhu had get all the beating because he has come as a Bhakta Rupa. So he
Correct.
took it. In case of Prahlad, Krishna was a god. But in that case, that's why he had to show that I got all the beating.
Correct.
Thank you, Mathaji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Dinabandhu Prabhu and
Lalita
Lalita Mataji.
Mathaji,
You're
you
on
need
mute.
to.
You're on mute, Mataji.
Thank you. Please accept my obeisances of glories to Prabhupada. I just wanted to thank you so much for wonderful classes. And I've been thinking it would be so nice to be your child or your children, to have such a wonderful mother. I just wanted to give a few reflections. One, as a devotee in the beginning of the movement in the 70s, that we were very immature. And I remembered some devotee once slammed his hand in the car, and another devotee said, well, that's just your karma. That is not our philosophy. And the fact is that we're the servant of the servant. So the more that we see everyone, including children in our family, as devotees, and always come to do any service, then we will reposition to be in the right mood. But I just wanted to say that I've had some special mercy in this life. And one of the things that has occurred is that I've had migraines where you lose your sight, you feel like you're underwater. But in the last few years, I've been losing my cognizance. I can't quite think. I can't talk. And even one day I was trying to get my husband to get me this herb to put on my forehead. And all I could say was, to the right, to the right. I couldn't remember who Radhanath Swami's, who he was. But I wanted to go get some Tulsi for the offering. And Krishna let me remember Tulasamrita Jannasi Saradakeshava. Krishna let me remember. That's a complicated mantra, and he let me remember the chanting. So that, yes, I've been going to an acupuncture to help me. And I went yesterday for the second time. The first time, she gave me this long session to help. It really helped. But then she was kind of challenging me, I thought, about being a devotee, that I wasn't a Christian because I had neck beads, my tilak, whatever. And I was really kind of like, well, she really helped me a lot. Now, what am I going to do on the second visit? So I said to my husband, I'm just going to be a Christian, because I grew up Christian. I get into there and I tell her a few things, and it was very nice. And I was just going to not let, I took my tilak, not let her have to deal with me being in that devotional, obviously devotional life. Then she puts the needle in me really deep. And what did I say? Krishna, 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 hey, Krishna, 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 hey. So Krishna help us to remember him no matter what. So I just wanted to share that. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank
Krishna
you.
gives us smriti, jnanam, and apohanam, right? According to what helps us at that time. Yeah, very true.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mata.
Thank you so much, Lalita
Thank you,
Mataji,
Lalita
for sharing.
Mataji, for sharing that. Such a beautiful thing. How you were not able to forget Krishna's name, but other things are just going out of your brain. So great, Mataji. Your service to Srila Prabhupada, you'll definitely remember Krishna all the time. Thank you for sharing that. It gives us lot of means I know that there with me. He is going to be there with me, because you are all sharing this kind of what is happening with you. It will definitely gives me confidence that whatever I am doing, I have to do with full faith. Definitely Krishna will be there with me when I need it. Thank you, Mataji. Such a beautiful pastime that you have shared. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Very, very nice to hear from you. Thank you so much. And then thank you so much, Medhavini Sakhi Mataji. Dandavat pranam. Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
yeah, very nice class, Mataji. Thank you so much.
So can we end now, Mataji?
Yes,
There are
yes,
no more
Mataji.
questions or comments?
Yeah.
Mataji,
Yeah.
can you please sing one bhajan? You are singing so nicely by the permission of Ajay Shama Gopi.
Okay. Okay.
Actually,
Okay. Let's
Mataji
sing this
sang in the
song.
beginning also. If Mataji
Yeah.
is busy, I don't know, because Mataji also sang in the beginning. Mataji, if you have time, you can sing. But I just wanted to tell her she sang in the beginning of the class. Mataji,
Please
we can.
forgive me, Mataji.
If you are
Okay. So we'll sing
free,
the
you
song
can sing,
Radha
Mataji. I
Krishna
just wanted to
Pranamura.
tell.
We'll just sing for the pleasure of Mataji. Keep us in your prayers. Keep in your prayers and bless me, Mataji. This is for the devotees of Bhakti Sanga, for your pleasure. Hare Krishna. So we'll sing this beautiful song written by Narottam Das Thakur. What should be the mood of a devotee? What are the emotions that a devotee should have? And what should be the prayer of a devotee? Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishore Jivane Marane Kati Aro Nahi Mora Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishora जीवने मरणे गति हारो नहीं मोरा कालिंदी रकुले केली कदम्बेरा रत्ना बेदीरा उपाय बोसा बधु जाना राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोरा श्याम गौरी अंगे विभो चंदने श्यामरा दुलाभो कभे हेरी मुख चंद्रा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोरा गतिया मलाती मला डिबो तो हार गले आधारे तुलिया डिबो कर्पूर तांबूले राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगला किशोरा ललिता विशाखा आदि जट सखी वृंदा आज्ञाया को रिबो सेवा चरणारविंदा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगला किशोरा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासे सेवा भी लाशा कोरे नरोत्तम दासा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगला किशोरा जीवने मरणे गति आरो नहीं मोरा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishora, Jivane Rane Gati Arunahi Mora.
Thank you so much, Mathaji.
Thank you, Mataji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji. Jai. Koti Koti Dandavat
Thank you,
Pranam.
Medhavini Sakhi Mataji. So sweet of you. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, Mathaji, for wonderful class, and thank you for your
Nice
session.
bhajan.
And we look forward for your session again in the future, Mathaji. Let us pay obeisances to Mathaji and all the devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Payo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Devotee
नमो नमः।
Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mataji ki jai.
Hare
Krishna. Hare
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Jai.
Krishna
Mataji, thank you so much.
Gauranga.
Jai Shri
Gauranga.
Ram. Govardhan
Gauranga.
Mayapur of the Dham ki jai.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Radhe Radhe.
Hare Krishna.